And how are you?
How exciting!
You have two different here, paella and pasta.
Oh my God! Thank you guys.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Gwen Bartholomew is unable to leave her house during the COVID-19 pandemic and is incredibly grateful for the fresh food dropped carefully and directly on her doorstep.
Look, I got 3 kids in there that they're already busting into it.
The shock that we're all feeling is quite overwhelming.
Elizabeth Blau and her husband own 2 superb restaurants in Clark County, but were forced to lay off 90% of their employees due to coronavirus and Governor Sisolak's closure order. In addition to keeping some healthy staff members employed, the Honey Salt team is serving delicious, nutritious food to a critical segment of the community.
In time of need, when I come to our team, they come together. And these aren't FEMA meals, these aren't cold sandwiches, these are beautiful meals that are ready to serve. And that is where the term Deliver with Dignity came up.
Honey Salt Restaurant is well known for their farm-to-table menu, but on this day their workers were more concerned with kitchen-to-home cuisine.
One dinner is like this. This is one dinner.
Chefs prepared pans of paella, pasta, chicken, and other culinary delights, and bagged 800 meals that were loaded up and given to 100 vulnerable families, free of charge and delivered with dignity by caring volunteer drivers. The first batch of meals were distributed to homes identified by Foster Kinship, a nonprofit group that supports relatives and close family friends raising children who aren't able to live safely with their parents.
Because what keeps me up at night more than anything else is if something happens to our caregivers, what happens to our children? So at Foster Kinship, we have been working tirelessly to find ways to keep our families home. But we have learned quickly that we need our community to come together now more than ever for these families. That's why we are so grateful to partner with these organizations to make sure that our families can stay home, stay together, and stay fed. These organizations are going to serve our 2 most vulnerable generations, our seniors and our children.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody.
The press conference was a display of powerful women respectfully practicing social distancing, but bringing together a cohesive strategy to stopgap wasting food by getting it to families who are quarantined, unable to go out for groceries, or have severe medical issues.
This is a pilot program. We're hoping to expand it because as more and more people get quarantined, we don't want them to go out. We want them to stay in their home. And if we can drop it at the door and they can put it in the oven, that will save them a lot of time and a lot of worry and a lot of stress. But it will also allow us to keep them in the location that's safest for them.
The Delivering with Dignity service is a pilot program funded by private donors.
This initiative was launched with private philanthropy money, but it can't go on for long. I want to thank the Elaine Wynn Family Foundation for their $50,000 challenge grant. Then Intermountain Healthcare and Healthcare Partners then provided $10,000. Dr. Stephen Thomas and his wife, Karen, another 10. Tom Thomas provided 10,000, and Drs. Gard and Florence Jameson provided 10,000. So we're on our way with the launch of this pilot today. Private philanthropy will sustain us for about 2 weeks, and then we need to work collaboratively with so many people. To those of whom so much was given and is given, much is expected. So if you are watching this and you can give food, volunteer drivers, funding, let us know.
And a tech company that vows to end world hunger, Copia, developed a platform to strategically and logistically link restaurants and other commercial food purveyors to match, route, and distribute prepared meals directly to those who need it.
And I remember thinking how much more effective, how much more efficient this would be if those who have food could say, hey, we have food, and those in need of food could say, hey, we could use that food. And we match these 2 people, clear the marketplace, and solve a real problem for both of them.
Oh my God, more?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Bartholomew is familiar with Honey Salt Restaurant, but had never sampled their food. Needless to say, she is now an enthusiastic and forever fan. Going to give them a 5-star Yelp rating after this?
Absolutely. Give them a 500. That is so generous of them to do this.